Great Writers Media.
Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes, and welcome to Books of the Month. We're so glad that you could join us for another powerful and exciting episode, and we have a very special guest with us today. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I want you to do this for us. Look right here and introduce yourself to our viewing audience. Tell them a little bit about who you are.
Sure. My name is Gözde Yücel. I'm a cancer biologist. I was born in Turkey and came to this country to become a scientist. And I've been here for 22 years.
Wow. Gozde, it's an honor and a privilege to have you with us today.
Thank you. It's great being here.
You've written this fascinating book, Kismet, a Turkish-American woman's unlikely story of race, love, and personal transformation.
That's right.
In Kismet, you invite our audience who's going to purchase this powerful book and our viewing audience to join you on a thrilling odyssey. I'm fascinated the way that it says that transcends borders, love, and the profound depths of personal transformation. This memoir delves into the life of a Turkish-American woman, a resilient soul, whose story resonates with the heartaches and triumphs of immigrants and those navigating the challenging terrain of divorce. Awesome introduction. Powerful. Speak to us about this book.
Yes. First of all, I want to mention about the name Kismet. Kismet means meant to be or fate in different languages in Middle Eastern countries. It's used in Turkey, Greece, Israel, and so also it's used in English as well.
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to, it's funny because my longtime mentor, Dee Dragon, we were thinking about a book name, and she was like, you have to find some name that's Turkish and English at the same time.
Okay.
And then that's how we found the name, and it means so much to me because it's everything about fate, meant to be. I was meant to write this book. I was meant to help people with this book, hopefully. That's why it's the name Kismet.
And tell us again what it means.
Meant to be or fate.
Meant to be or fate.
Uh-huh.
That's powerful. That's powerful. You know, you say something here. The book unfolds your tale with raw authenticity that takes you from the quaint landscape of Turkey in the suburbs, and then you leave Turkey and you come to the bustling streets of New York. That's a transition.
It is.
Talk to us about that.
Yes, so I come from a small town in Turkey, but I've always wanted to do science somewhere else because science wasn't done, at least at that time, that well. And I wanted to be in a lab. I wanted to be a researcher. So one of the places that I could come was U.S. And New York just happened to be, and I got accepted to NYU, New York University, for my PhD. So that's why I came. But yes, it was a big transition because it's such a big city, a lot happening.
Yes.
But at the same time, I have to say, it's a city that you never feel a foreigner. Like I never was asked, where is my accent from?
Right.
Everybody has an accent.
Yes.
And so I felt at home, actually. And I do miss, now I live in California, I do miss New York a lot.
Oh, so you've now, from Turkey to New York, from New York
To
California.
Yes.
You talk about the challenges of an immigrant coming to the U.S. and having to make that transition.
Right.
And the book has volumes of things in there.
Right.
In addition to you writing this book, there are some other things that you do dealing with wellness, dealing with conflict resolution. You're a conflict coach, you're a consultant, and all that's entailed in the book.
Right.
But you also deal with people who are facing trauma.
Right.
And all those types of things. So you packed a wealth of knowledge into this book. Talk to us about the things that are contained in the book and touch on those different things, the conflict resolution, the trauma, and those things that people going to purchase this book can get some answers to some things that they may be facing.
Yes. gladly. So first of all, I wrote the book. It was actually be a journal, like that was suggested to me by someone. You know, you're going through a lot. Why don't you journal about your experience? Which I did. So, and then it just became so much that I wanted to publish.
Yes.
And I realized there's a lot of books about divorce. There's a lot of book about trauma and other things. But this was about my experience as an immigrant coming to this country, studying, falling in love, and then that's not working out. I'm a mother of 3 boys. And, you know, going through all of that, I felt really alone. And I thought, hey, you know, I felt really alone, but I'm sure there are other people who are going through this.
Yes.
But people don't know about it. And when you're going through divorce, actually, you don't want to even talk about it. You want to hide it. It's a hard thing to go through. So I was like, this is something that I can write about and hopefully reach people with that so they don't feel alone, right? And also the whole takeaway of the book is self-love.
Yes.
So you have to love yourself first to be in a relationship, to be anywhere. But I figured that out after 40 years of age. I had to go through a lot of things to realize I have to love myself first. So, and all of the other things as well that when I was, I've been a scientist for 21 years. One of the things that I figured people are having a lot of problems with communication and conflict at the workplace.
Okay.
Especially scientists. As scientists, we're told not to feel, not to have empathy because we have to work. But that doesn't work, right? We are humans.
Yes.
We need to feel things. So what happened was at the workplace, we were losing a lot of talent and people were in a conflict or with their managers, with their team colleagues and stuff. So I was like, it's actually, for me, it was easy. I come from a culture where confrontation is very known and we do it all the time.
Yeah.
So, and conflict is a part of life. We accept it.
Yeah.
But in American culture, that's not the case. People try to hide it. But at the workplace, you need that, like, to be able to resolve your conflict, to be able to be happy. You work there, you spend 80% of your time there. You need to be happy, content where you work. So I got into conflict coaching, where I coached people at the workplace to empathize with the other person and empower them to be able to talk to them in a better way.
Wow, now that's powerful. So you're coaching people how to resolve conflict.
Right.
And one of the keys to resolving conflict is learn how to empathize with the person you're in conflict with.
Exactly.
That's a powerful tool that many don't even know. They're not aware of it.
Yes.
Because most people and the culture said that you must win.
That's right.
You're speaking from a perspective of taking a different approach to it. And those things are contained in this memoir, this book that you've
Yes.
written.
Yes.
That's powerful. So conflict resolution in the workplace. Also, in navigating the journey of being an immigrant,
Right.
you spoke something about when you came to New York, it wasn't so traumatic because everyone in New York has an accent. They don't ask you where you're from.
Right.
So that was easy for you. What was the transition like when you went from New York to California?
Well, California is kind of a melting pot too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was asked for the first time in my life where I'm from. As soon as I start speaking, they're like, "Where are you from?" You know, it's not a bad thing. I'm actually proud of my accent. I'm not from here and I'm proud of it. So I'm happy to talk about it. But I don't think it came from curiosity per se. I think it came from like, who is this person? And also people think that if people have accents, they must not know English or they're not as good, you know. So that's kind of the thing that I had to go through for sure.
Let me ask you this question. When you hear that, do you often face people who start raising their voices like you're deaf, like you can't hear.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I understand because, I have lots of relationships with people from other countries who are here, and it's like the volume of your voice goes up, like yelling or saying it loud is going to make it plainer. Talk to us about how people who are purchasing this book are going to be able to navigate the journey to resolve some conflict and the trauma that they're facing in this world, in this life, when they're going through those things that you've gone through.
Right. So part of the thing that, and I think that's also in every culture, in Turkey as well, in everywhere, people don't talk about mental health problems. And I have a whole chapter about mental health because that had a role in my, divorce.
Yes.
And I had to struggle myself as well. I had to figure out how to resolve my issues, my traumas. And traumas are distressing events that happens in childhood or in adulthood that are not resolved. And what happens is, if you don't resolve them, they might cause triggers in your life.
Absolutely.
And that happens all the time. So what I realize is, if I'm gonna go through this life, I need to release my traumas. So I work with someone, actually, he's my business partner, Sinan. He was trained in this neuroformat technique, and he did use techniques like EFT, emotional freedom technique, where you tap your collarbones, your head, while you're talking about the trauma.
Yeah.
There's also EMDR. So mixture of those techniques. But essentially, the thing is, you have to find the trauma first.
So you have to locate and identify the trauma before you can address the trauma.
Exactly.
That's powerful. Many people don't understand that.
Yes.
They try to deny it.
They try to
Well, if you
deny it.
denied it doesn't exist, then you can't find the resolve to overcome it.
Exactly.
Come on, talk to us about it.
So sometimes you don't know what it is, right? I mean, I was very aware of my traumas because I knew certain things happened when I was a child. This happened at 8, this happened at 11. I remember them being such big events. But sometimes it happens that some little thing that you don't even realize, but that causes a trauma. So you have to actually, if you're a trained professional, you can keep talking to people and then try to get it out of them. What could be that trauma?
Wow. Now, do you know how powerful, well, you know how powerful that is, because we were talking earlier, and it's both of us being coaches.
Right.
What you're talking about now is unhealed hurts, unmet needs, and unresolved issues.
That's right.
And you talked about it. It starts from a child, and there are things in our closets that we haven't addressed that were traumatic events
Right.
that traumatized us. But we put them in the closet and we shut the door, never addressed it.
That's right.
That's powerful. So take about 45 seconds and we're going to take a little break and come back. How do you begin to help someone overcome those traumatic events?
Once you locate the trauma, you take them back to that trauma.
Absolutely.
So this could be one session, couple of sessions, and then you start talking about it and you really get the anger out of it.
Yes.
So like why you were mad about, maybe yell at that person or people, scream, like get it out. But at the end of it, you have to let it go, resolve it by just saying, I forgive you because I want to have a better life. I forgive you for me.
Wow. Now I want you to stop right there. See, that's powerful. We call that in the coaching world gleaming. You go back, you gleam on that thing, you unpack it. But before you can unpack it, you have to face it.
That's right.
That's powerful. Listen, don't go any place. We're going to take a break, but we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You may want to attend college.
But you have a full-time job and kids that need your full-time attention.
How can you possibly attend college?
You learn online at South University.
Earn your degree while you still earn a paycheck.
Take care of your future while you take care of your children.
Earn your degree any hour, any day, from anywhere.
And the credit transfer policies also make it easier to return to college.
Earn your degree online from instructors who go way beyond the classroom to help their students change their lives.
And help their students change the lives of their children.
Learn online at South University.
1-800-233-0956.
College is a road to your destination.
And every journey begins with a starting point.
Start from South University Online.
The convenience of taking classes where you want,
The flexibility of taking classes when you want.
so you can become who you want.
South University Online.
1-800-233-0956.
Okay, so now we're talking about the different traumas.
Right.
We're talking about different things that people face, conflict resolution, consulting, and all of those things. What are some of the most traumatic events that people face that you have to help them navigate through as a coach? We talked about unhealed hurts, unmet needs, unresolved issues.
Right.
Identifying the trauma, identifying that event that happened even as a child. How do you help people do that?
So first of all, as I said, you have to find the trauma. Sometimes people don't know what it is. And then you have to keep talking to them. So if so there are certain things about like if something happened at the age of 8 but they don't remember, sometimes they don't remember
Yes.
it. You have to keep talking to them until you get that out. Maybe there was some shame that was
Yes.
involved. And embarrassment that happened but especially when we're younger, embarrassment really affects us.
Absolutely.
Or someone did something to you and then you didn't know it was wrong, but now as an adult you know, but you blocked it because you don't want to think about it. So those are the things that you can keep unearthed, and then you can bring it up, as I said before, and then start like being angry to the situation, like get it really out, like yell at it, scream at it, whatever it is that's necessary, and then forgive. Like you're not forgiving that person or those people because of them, or it's for you.
Self, yes.
It's for you.
Yes.
When you forgive, you let go.
Now that's powerful. I like to say it this way when I'm talking to clients many times and we're coaching, you have to die to the event. Because if you don't die to the event, then you can't give life to the new you,
Right,
the healed you.
right.
And so now those unhealed hurts, unmet needs, unresolved issues. I can remember talking to a person, and you so eloquently laid out a roadmap to recovery in this book that you've written. We want to encourage our viewers to go out and purchase this book, because as they're purchasing and reading, they're going to find themselves getting the answers to some things that they had not gotten answers to. And I can recall talking to a person doing a coaching session who was very successful in business, but was horrible in personal relationships. And the question I asked, I said, speak to me about the event that caused you to be what you think of yourself as a failure in your personal relationships. She started crying. We went all the way back to her grandmother. It was something that her grandmother had said to her that connected her with her mother.
Right.
Her grandmother had told her that her mother was no good and she was going to be no good just like her grandmother. So the rest of her life, she set out to prove her grandmother as being wrong. But her personal relationships were a mess because she was putting everyone in the place of her grandmother.
Right.
And so, like you said, you have to go back, and it's painful at times.
Right.
Well, once we broke through that, she let out this big breath. She exhaled.
Right.
I said, what do you need to do? She said, I need to forgive my grandmother. And so you touched on that forgiveness. How important is forgiveness?
Very important. So let me tell you, by the way, in the book, this is my story. And not everybody's story is the same. That's why I set up my business to help people, because not everybody's story is going to be the same as me, but hopefully I can help them with my partner
Yes.
to get through their traumas. But I want to give you an example about this trauma. So for a long time in my life, when something happened, I felt like this thought in my head that I'm stupid. Like, I'm stupid to do this thing.
The scientists.
No. So I'll tell you. So I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling stupid or naive? Then I remembered an event long time ago when I believe I was 8. Someone in the playground apparently did something to me. Someone called the police. When I came home, I remember my dad being mad, angry, and saying, "This girl is stupid," right? For me. And so that kind of resonated with me. So whenever I go through events, this is my self-thought. Oh, I'm stupid. So when I realized that, and I did the work with my partner, and he, we went down to the moments, and we released the trauma, and I forgave my dad. I'm not kidding you. In a couple of days, I called my dad, and I said, "Hey, Dad, I remember this thing. You might not remember. This happened many years ago. Do you think I'm stupid?" And he said, "Oh my God, Gozde, I actually, admire what you've done. You went to another country. You've done so much stuff that I would have never done myself. I actually admire you." So, but I was able to talk to him about that. Normally, I wouldn't have if I hadn't worked this trauma. So we have a great relationship now. I mean, we've always had a good relationship, but this whole trauma thing made me talk to him, and that even helped me even more.
That is so powerful. Childhood tapes. That's what I call childhood tapes. Those things that we lock in our memory. It's like our mind and our subconscious mind are our hard drives.
Right.
And we have this stuff stored on our hard drives. And conflict coaches, conflict resolution, you have to get rid of that hard drive.
Right.
You got to wipe that thing clean.
Yes.
And then you said something. You talk to your dad. This is what I had the person do. Her grandmother had passed.
Right.
So she couldn't communicate with her. I said, "Okay, your grandmother's sitting in front of you." She looked, I said, "Speak to your grandmother." And she told her grandmother how much she loved her and how she forgave her and this and that. And that's when she had that breakthrough. You just talked us through that.
Right.
Wow, that's powerful. Talk to us about some other valuable things that you have in this book. You talk about wellness.
Yes.
Those things that you're involved in, the business that you have. Talk to us about that.
As I said, this was my experience, and I wanted to help people do that. So we have this technique now. We call it neuro freedom technique, where we use different kind of techniques like EFT, EMDR, and try to get the trauma out of people. But we're not like saying, okay, this is the only way to, release your traumas, or, we can only help. I think therapy is a big thing. I talk about in the book as well. I think therapy is very powerful to change the narrative in your head, right? So I still have a therapist. I mean, I started seeing her before the divorce, and I still see her. And I feel like it's very important to have that objective person to talk to about your problems. But also I do other things like, meditation.
Yes.
And I do trauma work. And all those things I feel like as a combination help me do better. So that's what I want to do, help people do better in their lives, in their business. If they're having issues, personality issues with someone, and they can't work with this person. So I want to help them resolve their conflict.
Wow. Now that's a key. So I want you to do this for me. I want you to look right here. Someone's watching us. There's someone who's facing this conflict. They're dealing with a traumatic event that they don't seem to be able to overcome. They're stuck, holding themselves hostage. Take about 60, 90 seconds and speak to that person.
First of all, you're not alone. Everybody has traumas. Everybody goes through something. The first step is accepting that you have a problem and you want to resolve that. And then go to an therapist, individual trauma work person, and try to resolve that. Your life is going to be so much better.
Powerful. Don't be ashamed and afraid to address the trauma.
No.
That's powerful. What are some other things that you'd like to share?
About the book or
Yes.
about the piece? Well, I'm hoping that, it's funny because I thought this was more like a woman's point of view, woman's perspective, but I had a lot of male friends who read the book and they found something in it and they thought it was very powerful and helpful to them. So I think it's just read it. If you feel like something is touching you, I've done my job. You know what I mean? That's that's why I wrote the book. Someone could get help from this.
So it transcends gender.
Yes.
That's powerful. We all face trauma.
Yes.
We may address it in different ways, the male perspective as opposed to the female perspective. Right. But trauma doesn't, trauma will impact everybody. And you putting things here in this powerful book that's going to assist others and help us navigate the journey. What would be some other things you talk about? You deal with trauma. You're a conflict coach. You're a consultant. What would you like to share?
If they think that I can help them, I have a website that they can come to, www.kismetconsulting.us. Hopefully we can have a session. We're planning on having retreats to help multiple people with their traumas. And then if they pick something and if they don't want to have some individual sessions, that's also a possibility. And you could be anywhere in the US, in the world. We could do through Zoom.
Absolutely.
I just want to help people. That's my life's mission. And I say this and it's funny, but it's true. Divorce is a trauma that never goes away because you have to co-parent with this person most of the time. So you need help. I'm happy to help. I get help. So that's what my message is.
Divorce is a trauma that never goes away because you're going to have to co-parent. And in the process of that, you have to get over that traumatic event that could possibly have you to speak negatively about that person to your kids.
Exactly.
Which causes trauma in their lives.
Exactly.
That is so very, very powerful. Now, you just brought up a very, very powerful point there. I think so. You speak about the wellness perspective of the business that you have. What's something that you would like to share with that? Take about 60 seconds and share something about that wellness perspective and the business venture that you have.
So the wellness is the trauma work that I'm talking about. We start as like the retreats with multiple people, and according to interest, we'll plan more. But that's the thing, like what kind of like parent issues you had, like we would address it together. And then those things, when you're in a group like that, I feel like things might come up that you didn't know it existed or things like that. So hopefully we can also help them individually as well afterwards. And then the businesses also can reach out to me about conflict coaching. I'm also a mediator, which means that I can be the neutral party with two people who are having conflict.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Now see, so now I hope our viewing audience, you're listening because you're talking about group and individual sessions are available.
Yes.
So you're available for group and individual sessions. I tell you, this is so powerful. We want to thank you so much for coming and sharing the wealth of knowledge. And I'm just fascinated. So we have the scientists, we have the coach, we have conflict resolution, a mother of three boys.
Three boys.
Three boys and doing all of these different things. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This was great.
We want to encourage our viewing audience to go out and get you a copy of this powerful book. Where can they locate the book again?
It's in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other books. If they Google it, they'll find it. And now, in a week or so, Audible version is coming out. Wow. If you like to listen to it, I like listening to books, so that's also going to be an option.
That's very powerful. I want to thank you for joining us for Books of the Month. I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. Make sure you join us again right here next time for Books of the Month.
Visit us at www.greatwritersmedia.com. Email us at info@greatwritersmedia.com or call us at +1 877 556 0487.